Why giving everything is never enough. Across history, one question has quietly haunted countless women. Why is it that no matter how much I give, my love, my loyalty, my sacrifices, I still do not feel truly valued by the man I am with? This dilemma has echoed through centuries, whispered in royal chambers and ordinary kitchens alike. Queens have abandoned crowns, women have surrendered dreams, wives have carried burdens silently, all in the hope that love and sacrifice would secure respect. And yet, so many discovered a painful truth: devotion alone does not guarantee honor in a man's eyes. A woman may be admired for her beauty, celebrated for her kindness, or even praised for her generosity. But admiration and appreciation are not the same as respect. Deep respect, the kind that makes a man look at a woman and think, "I cannot lose her, she is irreplaceable," comes from something different. It is not built on appearance, charm, or endless giving. Instead, it is grounded in something subtle but powerful: attitude. Not the attitude of momentary mood or expression, but the enduring posture a woman holds about herself. The quiet conviction that declares, "I am worthy, my presence has value, and I will not trade that worth away for crumbs of affection." Three attitudes, above all, shape how men perceive women. The ability to set and defend boundaries. The courage to protect and maintain independence. The wisdom of giving selective recognition instead of constant approval. Together, these attitudes form an invisible crown. They transform the way men engage with women, not as conveniences, but as equals worthy of respect. Let us begin with the first and perhaps most misunderstood: boundaries. Attitude 1. Boundaries, the framework of respect. Boundaries are not barriers. They are not coldness, cruelty, or punishment. Boundaries are lines, clear, firm, dignified, that separate what is acceptable from what is not. To many women, boundaries feel uncomfortable. They fear that saying no will be seen as rejection, that speaking up will cause conflict, that setting limits will drive men away. So they bite their tongue, accept what hurts, and give more than they want to give. But in doing so, they unknowingly erase the very thing that could earn them lasting respect. Because here is a truth that may sting: a man cannot truly respect what has no limits. Why men push limits? Men often unconsciously test boundaries. It is not always malice. Sometimes it is playfulness, sometimes habit, sometimes instinct. But the pattern is consistent. A man will nudge to see how far he can go, how much he can take, how much is tolerated. He shows up late and offers no apology. And letwani A5, why noi dua vagi letwani 1 b letwani CF, S letwani F1, co CH letwani CB UC letwani E7, a co letwani A5, why B letwani B1 NG Karch, thu Giant, toy CH letwani C9 dua thoi. And letwani A5, why thuk di stroke letwani A9, why co letwani A5, why TH letwani CF, a H I letwani C7 PTH letwani DDI Giant, GRTL letwani CBC letwani E7, a co letwani A5 Y. Let 1 B0, let 1 EDB, C Mo C, let 1 E7, a co let 1 EA5, Y, T let 1 EBNG, Inchim let 1 ED9T. T let 1 EA1, I. En Hunkayam let 1 ED9T, NG let 1 B0, let 1 EDD, IPH let 1 E5, N let 1 EF, co Rangi I let 1 EDB, I. Cow CHUY let 1 EC7, NS let 1 EBD. L let 1 EA7N, D stroke let 1 EA7 UTN, Anta Kong Ton, TL let 1 ECDNG, TH let 1 EDD, I Giant C let 1 E7, a co. In that moment, the dynamic shifts. He realizes she is not someone to be molded or used at will. She is a person with a spine, someone who respects herself and therefore demands respect in return. Boundaries are not obstacles to intimacy. They are the scaffolding upon which real love is built. The psychology of limits. Why do boundaries affect men so deeply? Because human beings, and men in particular, instinctively value what is not endlessly available. Just as a rare diamond commands more care than a pebble, just as a guarded treasure inspires greater effort to protect, so too does a woman with boundaries inspire greater respect. A woman without limits may be adored for her giving nature, but over time, her constant availability breeds complacency. She becomes convenient, and convenience, though comfortable, is rarely revered. A woman with limits, on the other hand, becomes a challenge worth rising to. She awakens something inside a man, the drive to honor, to protect, to meet her standards. Everyday illustrations. Consider Anna, a young professional balancing career and romance. When a man she likes suggests vague plans, "Let's meet whenever I'm free," Anna doesn't drop everything. Instead, she replies, "I'd like that. I'm free Thursday evening. Let me know if that works." In one sentence, she communicates, "My time has value." Or Julia, a wife and mother. Her husband assumes she will handle every household responsibility while he relaxes. One evening, Julia sits him down. "I need you to share the load. This family belongs to both of us, and I will not carry it alone." The conversation is not easy, but it redefines respect within their marriage. Or Carla, a university student. Her boyfriend teases her about her looks, brushing it off as humor. Instead of laughing along, Carla calmly says, "Comments like that are not acceptable to me. If they continue, I'll choose to walk away." In that moment, she reclaims her dignity. Each of these women demonstrates a truth. Boundaries are not about pushing men away. They are about teaching men how to love them properly. Boundaries are acts of love. Many fear that boundaries mean coldness, but the opposite is true. A boundary is not a locked door. It is a fence around a cherished garden. It protects what is precious, allowing intimacy to flourish in safety. When a woman sets limits, she is not rejecting love, she is getting it. She is saying, "If you want me in your life, treat me with care. I am not disposable." The man who values her will adjust. The one who does not will drift away. Either way, she wins because she has remained loyal to herself. The cost of no boundaries. Without limits, a woman becomes exhausted from overgiving, resentful from unmet needs, invisible in her own relationship, taken for granted not out of cruelty but out of human habits. She may believe her sacrifice holds the relationship together, but in truth, it erodes the very foundation of respect. The shift when boundaries are honored. When a woman consistently enforces her boundaries, men respond differently. They may resist at first, but gradually they adjust. Over time, they begin to see her not as an accessory to their lives, but as a partner whose worth demands recognition. She no longer needs to beg for respect. It is given naturally because her presence commands it. Independence, the power of standing whole. If boundaries form the walls of dignity, independence is the foundation of self-worth. Independence does not mean isolation. It does not mean rejecting men or living without love. Rather, it is the ability to stand complete within yourself, to know that your life, your dreams, your identity do not vanish the moment you enter a relationship. Too many women fall into the trap of surrendering their independence in the name of love. They abandon passions, neglect friendships, and even reshape their personalities just to fit into a man's world. At first, he may enjoy the convenience, but slowly something shifts. Instead of admiring her devotion, he begins to take her for granted. Instead of being drawn to her uniqueness, he forgets why she stood out to him in the first place. The very act of erasing herself makes her less magnetic. Why independence is attractive. Independence is magnetic because it signals strength. A man may be intrigued by beauty, but what captures his deeper respect is a woman who has a life that does not revolve solely around him. When she pursues her career, nurtures her friendships, explores her passions, she communicates a simple truth. "I am whole on my own. You are a part of my life, but not the entirety of it." This is not arrogance, it is balance, and balance inspires admiration. Think of it this way: if a man knows that your happiness depends entirely on his presence, he feels both powerful and burdened. But if he sees that you find joy in your work, fulfillment in your hobbies, meaning in your community, then being with you becomes a privilege, not a responsibility. Stories of independence. Take Anna again. She begins dating someone new who complains about how much time she dedicates to her art. Instead of abandoning her passion, Anna replies, "My art is part of who I am. I want a partner who supports that, not one who asks me to erase it." Or Julia, the mother of two. After years of centering her life solely on family, she decides to return to school to pursue a long-forgotten dream. At first, her husband resists. "Why bother at this stage?" But Julia calmly insists, "I want to do this for me. I will not live the rest of my life with regret." Her decision reignites respect, not only from him, but from her children as well. Or Carla, the student whose boyfriend demands constant attention. When he complains about her time with friends, Carla replies, "My friendships are important. If you cannot respect that, then we are not aligned." Each story illustrates a deeper truth. Independence is not selfish. It is the soil from which authentic love grows. The psychology behind independence. Why does independence matter so much in men's perception? Because human beings instinctively respect those who have a strong sense of identity. A woman who clings desperately to a man for meaning risks becoming replaceable. But a woman who has her own life is never replaceable because she cannot be replicated. Her independence makes her rare. Her wholeness makes her invaluable. Men, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to the challenge of being with a woman who does not need them, but who chooses them. It forces them to rise, to give, to contribute, because they know she will not settle for less. Independence in everyday life. Independence can be expressed in countless ways. Financial independence, managing your own resources, contributing to your stability. Emotional independence, regulating your own moods instead of demanding constant reassurance. Intellectual independence, pursuing knowledge, hobbies, or causes that matter to you. Social independence, maintaining friendships, communities, and networks outside the relationship. None of these diminish love. Instead, they enrich it. When both partners bring full, vibrant lives to the table, the relationship becomes not a cage, but a dance. The cost of losing independence. When independence is abandoned, the results are predictable. Resentment grows as she realizes she has lost herself. Attraction fades because her uniqueness has been replaced by dependency. Balance collapses, leaving her vulnerable to being taken for granted. Over time, the relationship stagnates. She feels invisible, he feels burdened. Both lose the spark that once connected them. The beauty of two wholes. True love is not two halves making a whole. It is two wholes choosing to walk together. When a woman stands independently, she communicates strength without words. Her life is full, her spirit alive, her worth intact. A man who enters her world knows he must contribute, not consume. He must add value, not drain it. And in return, she inspires him to grow. Because the presence of an independent woman does not diminish, it elevates. Selective recognition, the art of valuing yourself. If boundaries are the walls and independence the foundation, then selective recognition is the crown. It is the way a woman signals her value, not by demanding attention from everyone, but by carefully choosing who receives her energy, her time, her acknowledgement. Selective recognition means you do not applaud every man who looks your way. You do not open your heart to every compliment, nor reward every shallow gesture with devotion. Instead, you recognize only what is truly worthy, acts of integrity, words backed by consistency, gestures aligned with respect. Why men respect what is rare. Human nature is simple. We value what is scarce. If approval is given too freely, it loses meaning. A woman who smiles at every advance, who showers attention without discernment, teaches men that her recognition is cheap. But a woman who pauses, who chooses carefully, who withholds until she sees sincerity, her recognition becomes a prize. And men, consciously or unconsciously, strive harder for it. It is not about playing games, it is about protecting your dignity, because recognition is not just a smile or a yes. It is a signal of worth. It tells a man, "You matter to me," that signal must never be handed out without thought. Stories of selective recognition. Take Maria. She once believed politeness meant accepting every invitation, responding to every message, entertaining every flirtation. But this left her drained, disrespected, and often ignored once men realized her attention required no effort. One day she changed. Instead of answering every text immediately, she prioritized her own life. Instead of saying yes to every request, she weighed the character of the man behind it. Slowly, she noticed a shift. Men who had once taken her lightly began working to earn her recognition. Or Sophia, who received constant flattery online. Instead of being swept away, she filtered, "Anyone can type sweet words. Show me consistency, and then I'll take notice." Her recognition, once scarce, became powerful. It separated pretenders from the genuine. Recognition as power. Selective recognition is not coldness, it is wisdom. It tells men that your attention cannot be bought with surface gestures. It must be earned through character, respect, and action. And when they finally receive it, your smile, your time, your commitment, it carries weight. This is why some women remain unforgettable, because their recognition is not easily gained. Their love, their presence, feels like a treasure, not a transaction. The psychology behind it. Why does this matter so deeply in the eyes of men? Because when recognition is scarce, it signals high value. Men instinctively want to win challenges, to prove themselves worthy. A woman who rewards every effort indiscriminately removes that challenge, but one who chooses carefully awakens pursuit, respect, and effort. This is not manipulation, it is nature. Men do not admire what comes too easily. They admire what requires growth, patience, and sincerity. Everyday practice of selective recognition. When someone flatters you, pause, ask, is it backed by action? When someone offers you attention, consider, does this align with respect? When someone pursues you, watch, do they remain consistent when it is inconvenient? By filtering this way, you raise the quality of connection. Instead of being surrounded by noise, you are surrounded by sincerity. The danger of blind recognition. When recognition is given without discernment, danger follows. Men lose respect, seeing her attention as easy to win. Genuine connections are drowned out by shallow ones. Her own energy is depleted, leaving her feeling empty. Blind recognition teaches men not to value her. Selective recognition teaches men to rise to her standards. Recognition as an invitation. At its core, selective recognition is not rejection, it is invitation. It invites only the worthy into your inner world. It filters out the distractions, leaving space for what truly matters. And when you finally offer recognition, it is not casual, it is powerful. It tells a man, you have shown yourself, you have proven respect, now you have earned my attention. That moment, simple as it may seem, transforms the dynamic. He does not just feel liked, he feels honored, and that honor binds him with respect, admiration, and lasting attraction. Emotional stability, the quiet strength that captivates men. If boundaries protect your dignity, independence secures your freedom, and selective recognition safeguards your value, then emotional stability is the calm at the center of the storm. It is the quiet strength that makes a woman unforgettable. Men admire beauty, yes. They enjoy charm, wit, and physical attraction. But what makes them stay, what earns their long-term respect, is emotional stability. Because beauty fades, excitement changes, but the ability to remain grounded, to hold steady when life trembles, that is a rare gift. Why emotional stability matters. Every man, no matter how confident he appears, faces storms, work pressure, failures, insecurities, family burdens. When he encounters a woman who is emotionally chaotic, quick to anger, or easily unbalanced, he feels drained. Instead of partnership, he experiences turbulence. But when he meets a woman with emotional stability, something shifts. Her calm presence becomes an anchor. Her steadiness offers refuge. She does not crumble at every difficulty nor explode at every disagreement. She can feel deeply without being consumed by the wave. Men may chase excitement, but they commit to stability. The misconception: stability vs. coldness. Some women fear that being stable means being distant, unemotional, or robotic. But emotional stability is not emotional suppression. It does not mean you never cry, never express anger, never feel joy. It means you experience emotions without being controlled by them. You know your worth, so you do not beg for constant reassurance. You trust yourself, so you do not spiral into jealousy at every glance. You value peace, so you choose responses that bring clarity rather than chaos. Stability is not coldness, it is warmth held within strength. A story of two reactions. Imagine two women faced with the same scenario. A delayed text, reply from the man they are dating. Clara, emotionally unstable, panics. She overthinks, writes 3 long messages, accuses him of ignoring her, and spends hours in turmoil. Elena, emotionally stable, notices the delay but does not leap to conclusions. She goes about her day, trusts her own worth, and when he replies later with an explanation, she responds with grace. Which one do you think earns deeper respect? Clara may attract attention at first, but her instability creates exhaustion. Elena, by contrast, demonstrates calm confidence. Her stability communicates, I am secure in myself, and I will not collapse over small uncertainties. This is magnetic to men, not because it is easy, but because it is rare. The psychology of stability. Attraction is often sparked by novelty, but respect grows in the soil of consistency. When a woman is stable, men feel safe. They know she will not explode unpredictably. Respected because her emotions are not weapons. Challenged, they must rise to meet her steadiness, not manipulate her volatility. This does not mean men want a woman with no passion. Quite the opposite. Stability allows passion to flourish without destruction. How to cultivate emotional stability. Stability is not born overnight, it is practiced. Self-awareness, recognize your triggers, notice when insecurity whispers lies. Awareness is the first defense. Pause before reacting. Stability is often a matter of seconds. Take a breath before responding. Ask yourself, what response aligns with my dignity? Anchor in values, not moods. Let principles guide your actions, not temporary feelings. Embrace solitude. A stable woman is not afraid to be alone. Solitude strengthens her emotional core. Seek balance in life. Work, friendships, hobbies, spirituality. These pillars give you stability even when one area shakes. The contrast, chaos versus calm. Think of men you admire in history or fiction. The leaders, the warriors, the protectors. What quality do they share? Calm under pressure. Now flip the lens. When a woman embodies this calmness, men feel equally drawn. They may enjoy drama for a season, but they respect stability for a lifetime. Chaos drains, calm captivates. The subtle power of emotional stability. Sometimes stability is quiet. It does not demand attention, it does not boast, yet it carries immense power. In arguments, it allows you to listen instead of escalate. In disappointment, it helps you stand tall instead of collapse. In love, it communicates trust rather than desperation. This power builds respect. A man may admire many women, but he remembers the one whose stability gave him peace. Stability as a gift to yourself. Ultimately, emotional stability is not just for men. It is first and foremost a gift to yourself. Because when you are stable, your energy is preserved. Your confidence shines. Your relationships become healthier. A stable woman does not chase validation. She radiates it. She does not demand respect. She commands it naturally through her presence. The 3 attitudes that make a woman irresistible. We have walked through 4 powerful attitudes. Boundaries, the courage to say no, to define where your dignity begins and ends. Independence, the freedom to stand tall on your own, to need no one, yet choose connection from strength. Selective recognition, the wisdom to value your attention, to give it only where respect and sincerity are proven. Emotional stability, the quiet strength that makes your presence a refuge, not a storm. Together, these qualities form a foundation that no fleeting beauty, no superficial charm can replace. They are timeless. They transcend trends, cultures, and generations. Because what men truly admire, what they respect deep down, is not a woman who bends endlessly to please, but a woman who embodies her own worth. Why these attitudes matter today. In our modern world, women are often told to give more, to serve endlessly, to mold themselves into what men want. Yet the irony is clear: the more a woman sacrifices her essence, the less she is valued. Men may enjoy convenience, but they respect strength. They may be entertained by drama, but they are anchored by stability. They may be flattered by attention, but they are captivated by rarity. And when a woman lives by these attitudes, she does not only inspire respect from men, she transforms her entire life. The legacy of a strong woman. Think back to the women who left an imprint on history, on culture, on families. Were they women who simply pleased, or were they women of conviction, of self-possession, of inner strength? Respect is not asked for. It is commanded, silently, naturally, through presence. And when you carry these attitudes, you leave a legacy, not only in relationships, but in every interaction, at work, in friendships, in family. People remember you not for what you gave away recklessly, but for the strength you embodied. A call to action. So now, the invitation is simple. Reflect on your boundaries. Where do you need to draw the line to protect your dignity? Examine your independence. Are you building your life on your own foundation or leaning too heavily on others? Practice selective recognition. Who truly deserves your energy and who does not? Cultivate emotional stability. How can you respond from strength rather than react from fear? This is not about perfection. It is about direction. Every step you take toward these attitudes strengthens the respect you command and the peace you experience. Final words. At the end of the day, a woman's value is not in how much she gives away, but in how much she honors herself. And when you honor yourself, through boundaries, independence, selective recognition, and emotional stability, others will have no choice but to honor you too. Not because you demanded it, not because you begged for it, but because your very presence makes it undeniable. So step forward with courage, carry yourself with quiet strength. Let your presence remind the world that respect is not granted, it is earned. And you, by living these truths, are the kind of woman who will always, always be respected.